Most films about grief follow a familiar pattern: loss, sadness, healing. But what if grief didn't make you cry? What if it made you want to take everything apart? Directed by Jean-Marc Vallée, Demolition is an unconventional drama that challenges the traditional grief narrative. Instead of tears and sorrow, we follow Davis Mitchell, a man whose loss pushes him into self-destruction and detachment. Through fragmented storytelling, raw cinematography, and unexpected character dynamics, the film presents grief in a way that is unsettling yet deeply human. Rather than moving forward, Davis disassembles everything around him: his furniture, his emotions, and eventually his entire identity. This critique will be analyzing Demolition through three key aspects: its nonlinear plot structure, complex character development, and the cinematographic techniques that immerse us in Davis's fractured reality. Most films about grief follow a linear path: loss, mourning, and eventual healing. Demolition breaks this structure entirely. The film uses a nonlinear narrative where key events unfold in fragments, mirroring Davis's disconnected emotional state. Scenes jump between past and present, reinforcing how grief distorts time and memory. Rather than expressing sadness, Davis fixates on destruction. His emotions are externalized through physical destruction: unscrewing appliances, tearing apart his home, even casually removing a bathroom stall door at work. This behavior isn't random, it's a subconscious attempt to break down his own emotions piece by piece.
Dear Champion Vending Company, comma. This letter is in regards to a poor vending experience at St. Andre's.
The film's storytelling is also filled with symbolism. The vending machine letters, which start off as a trivial complaint, evolve into a window into Davis's fractured mind. His house, once a symbol of stability, becomes something he must literally destroy before he can rebuild. A major turning point comes when he meets Karen and her son Chris, two equally lost souls, shifting the narrative from self-destruction to rediscovery. By breaking conventional plot structures, Demolition offers an unfiltered portrayal of grief. It doesn't force emotional catharsis, it lets it unfold chaotically. This unpredictability may frustrate some viewers, but for others, it creates a deeply personal and immersive experience. Davis is not a conventional grieving husband. He doesn't cry, reminisce, or seek comfort from others. Instead, his character arc is about deconstructing himself, both physically and emotionally, to figure out who he really is. One of the most impactful moments in the film comes when Davis finally breaks down. After spending the entire film avoiding emotion, he sits in his car and cries, his first genuine reaction to his wife's death. This marks a turning point where destruction shifts to reconstruction. By the end of the film, Davis's arc isn't about fixing himself. It's about understanding that grief doesn't always follow a clear path. The final moments of his journey reflects his ability to rebuild emotion, even if he's still figuring things out. Demolition makes extensive use of handheld cinematography to immerse the viewer in Davis's unstable mindset. The constant shaky framing mirrors his emotional disarray, making the audience feel as though they are experiencing his grief firsthand.
Is.
The movie shows Davis's emotional state through colors. Early on, after his wife dies, everything looks cold and gray: his office, his house. But when he starts breaking down walls later in the film, the lighting gets warmer and more natural. This color change shows how he's slowly starting to feel again. The way the movie looks matches how Davis feels inside. The cold, blue colors at the beginning show how empty he feels after his wife's death. Then when he smashes up his house, the warmer light shows he's finally letting some emotions out. The colors help tell his story without words. Editing plays a key role in visual storytelling. The film frequently uses abrupt jump cuts, mimicking Davis's fragmented thoughts. Scenes transition unpredictably, reinforcing the theme of emotional instability. Davis is often framed through reflections, mirrors, glass windows, and car surfaces, symbolizing his detachment from his true self. The framing choices emphasize his isolation. For me, Demolition wasn't just a film, it was an experience. It doesn't follow a typical grief story, and that's what makes it feel so real. Instead of forcing emotions, it lets us sit in the absence of them, making every moment of destruction, frustration, and eventual release feel incredibly raw and personal. One of the most powerful moments is when Davis finally stops destroying things and simply walks through the crowd of the city. No words, no explanation, just silence. Demolition excels in allowing us to experience grief in its most raw and unpredictable form, without dictating emotions. It's not a film that gives you easy answers, and that's why it stays with you. Days after watching, I still found myself thinking about it, about loss, self destruction, and what it really means to heal. It's a film that lingers, and one that doesn't tell you how to feel, but makes sure you feel something. So, what about you? Did this movie challenge your expectations on grief, or did its chaos lose you? Thanks for watching.